So now that we have the roof on and the floor, we can add a ceiling on the inside. Now, you've got floor plans and you've got ceiling plans. So if I go ceiling plan, ground floor, that's the ceiling for the first floor of our building. Now, same way as I did before, I've got a tool here called ceiling. I can click on that, and you can put ceilings in different rooms. That's showing me my closets as well. So this is an automatic ceiling. I could also go sketch ceiling and just draw over the whole thing. But I think for this case, we're just going to go, I want a ceiling there, 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 and there. That's my ceilings. So those ceilings will be in place now. It's kind of hard to see that they're there in this view, but if I click on properties, you can see component ceiling plane. And you could change the type of ceiling, that's all right, but I've got a ceiling. Back to architecture. Now I can go in and I can add some different components again. So if I go to component, load family, I should have another set of families that is lighting. So here we go, lighting, architectural, internal, and you've got a series of walls. Now you can see that these walls or the lights have kind of yellow bits around them. That's showing us the disbursement pattern of the light. Now it's important because we're going to be using that in the rendering stages later on. So pendant lights and all sorts of interesting things. So we're just going to go cheap, ceiling light, flat round, and you can see that showing up. I'm going to come into my kitchen and just add a grid of them. I got 2 there. There's 4 for my kitchen. That'll be nice and bright. Come into my living room. Sorry, zoom's a bit funny here. The video capture program is slowing my computer down a bit. Got some lights there. The bedrooms probably won't need as much, so I'll put 1 in that bedroom, 1 in the bathroom, and 1 in that bedroom. So I've got some lighting set up. So now it allows me to do something called rendering, which we'll get back to later because that's quite a job just on its own. So back to my product browser. We can go back to ground level floor plan. Everything's still intact there. We can go back to 3D, and you can see the 3D house. So essentially, for what we're looking at in this one, we're done the building itself. Now, the next thing that I want to take a look at is just like a basic site, because everybody likes to have something around their house. So up here, I've got something called massing and site. If I click on that, you can see massing components, which we're not going to be looking at in this. And we've got site components and Toposurface. Toposurface is essentially the land that our house is going to be built on. So I've clicked on that. I'm going to go to floor plan site. So what you can see here, my Toposurface, I've got place points, create from import. So I could import something from AutoCAD, from another file, simplify surface, so you can simplify things. But I'm just going to place points. So I'm saying that my yard, so I've got modify, edit surface, elevation is 0. So 0 is ground level. So I'm going to say here and here is 0. Here and here is 0. So I've got a perfectly flat piece of land that my house is going on. Now I could say a meter, so 1,000 millimeters. And I could place a couple more, like so. And that's going to give me a bit of an elevated land. Now, don't know if I like this one. You can move them. That changes things. So now the front's still flat, but there's a bit of a slope around the back. I'm going to go back to modify the surface. I'm just going to check. And now I've got a surface. So if I go to 3D view, you can see my house has that surface going around the outside of it. Now you should be able to go back to the properties of that surface and change the material. Now, same way that we changed that height before, we can go to Material, click on these three little dots, and it's going to bring up a library of different materials we can use. So it's just kind of an appearance thing. So we've got, I'm just looking for grass or something that would look like outside. So plantage, foliage, that's going to look pretty grassy. Thought there was a grass one, but maybe not. So we'll just use foliage. Good enough. Go OK. And now it thinks that's foliage. So let's take a look here. We're going to change this to realistic and see what it does for us. So there you go. That's turned green. You can see the little surface that our house is built on. Very cool. So now we can go back and we can add some more components to our house. So you can go Site Component. And here a whole bunch of new site components have shown up. So different trees and things. I don't know if they've got too many Australian trees in here, but let's add a maple. There's a big maple tree that we've got. Another maple tree up at the front. It's a cabin. Everyone likes maple trees. You can add some different trees. We can go with Japanese cherry. A little tree back there. And there's our cabin looking a lot better. So very cool. So now that we've got our cabin looking like that, we can go back in and play with it a little more. So I'm just going to go back to my project browser, and we're going to go to my site plan. Under the 3D view again, I've got that camera tool, and I'm going to take a shot back of my cabin. So there's my cabin. I don't really want to see the land underneath of my cabin. Might need to get another window here. But there, nice little cabin. And you can come down and look at it in realistic. Or sorry, that's ray trace. That might take a second. But what's going to happen is ray trace and realistic are going to give you a realistic look of what it's going to be. So there you go. So there's the ray trace of that picture. So it's rendered it out so we can really see it. You can see like the trees look real, the house looks real. Some pretty cool stuff there. And that's it for this tutorial. So we've gone through, we've looked at how to build the walls, how to connect them to a roof, add the roof. We've looked at making a little site, adding some trees. Play with it, see what you can come up with. Pretty cool stuff making a basic cabin.